Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. On this episode we will continue our look at Kenner's Jurassic Park Series 2 line. The figure we'll be looking at today is the Pachycephalosaurus. The Pachycephalosaurus is among the smaller dinosaurs for the Series 2 line. It retailed back in 1994 for $4.99 and included a collector's card and capture gear, which was a new thing for the Series 2 line. It stands about 4.5 inches tall and is about 7 inches long. The figure is in a neutral position, looking straight ahead. Despite not appearing in the first film, its overall accuracy to the actual dinosaur is pretty good, and it's instantly recognizable as a Pachycephalosaurus. While it didn't appear in the first film, it would appear in the second, The Lost World. And while this sculpt isn't an exact match for what would appear in that film, it's still close enough. When I was younger, I was actually unaware of this figure's existence. I always thought the Lost World version was the first one. This figure is completely made of hard plastic, as opposed to rubber. Throughout its body you'll find a good amount of detail. From the 3 rows of bumps down its back and to the tail, to the spikes around its head. It all looks pretty nice, with the head being the best part of the figure. Moving on to the paint, its primary color is red, with black stripes going down its back. It also has beige paint that sort of starts around its neck and continues onto its chest, belly, and under its tail. It also has black painted finger and toenails. Moving to its head, you'll find yellow around the top and a little bit below the black paint that surrounds its orange eyes. Its eyes also have dark red pupils. And I almost forgot to mention its JP mark is on its leg. This one's number is 14. Its paint job gives me volcanic vibes. It's a radically different paint job than what will come later from this sculpt. And even though it's really different from what they will look like in the films, I still really like this paint job. Moving on to the articulation, it has 5 basic points and its action feature. Both the arms can move just back and forth, and its legs can move, though they can't move as far forward as they can backwards. Its tail can also be moved if you want it to, but if you do this, it doesn't really look right because it no longer lines up with the rest of the figure once moved. The action feature on this one is called Headbutting Attack. This describes the action pretty well. To do it, you just press the button on its left leg, which causes its head to swing downwards. This is indeed a headbutt more than a ramming action like you see in the Lost World film, though if you wanted to, you can always just keep the button held down to ram other figures. It's a pretty good feature, though for whatever reason the button on mine gets stuck a lot. I don't have this problem on my other versions of this figure, just this one. Not sure if that's a common issue or not. Speaking of those other versions, its first repaint would be for the Lost World toy line. This paint job is very different from the previous, and slightly closer to the movie version. This paint job features mainly green paint, with different shades found throughout it. The body is a lighter green, with the stripe-like parts being a more darkish green color. Another difference is the head, which now features red on top instead of yellow, and the dome part has a white spot on it. There's actually a more uncommon variant of this version, that has orange paint here instead of white. The variant also has pupils more similar to the Series 2 version, having more cat-like eyes instead of just black dots. I actually prefer this orange painted version more. I think it stands out a bit better. Both of the Lost World versions feature red eyes. This version would also include capture gear, though different from the Series 2 version. The next repaint of this figure would occur in the Jurassic Park Dinosaurs line that was released in 1999, and exclusive to Walmart. This version is very similar to the Lost World version, though instead of all green it has blue stripes and a gray body. There is still some green there though, like around the head and tail. It also has white paint on top of its head and has darker red eyes. This release also included a human figure. There was going to be one other release using this sculpt. That version was going to be part of the cancelled Chaos Effect Night Hunters line. In terms of rarity, the Series 2 release is still relatively common compared to the other Series 2 releases, and can be had for $10 to $15 loose, and $35 to $40 in its box. The Lost World version is the most common, and can be found for $5 to $10 loose, and $25 to $30 unopened. There is the more uncommon variant with the orange paint on its head, but I'm not sure how much that adds to the value. If anyone has the Lost World version, let me know in the comments which one you have, the white painted one or the orange one. The Jurassic Park Dinosaurs version is the most uncommon of the three, mainly because of the line it's a part of. Loose, it still shouldn't cost you too much, $10 to $15, but in its box it might go over $50. As always, these prices aren't official. You can always find them for more or less. Before I give my rating for this figure, here's a comparison with other figures. Here it is with a Kenner 4-inch human and a Mattel 3 3/4 scale human. Here it is with a Velociraptor. Here it is with the Utah Raptor. And finally, here it is with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. For a rating out of 10, I give all versions of this figure an 8. I might slightly prefer the Series 2 paint job over the others, but really they all look fine. The sculpt is good and it has a fun action feature. It's an overall solid little figure, and I recommend picking up any version of this. And that's it for the Series 2 Pachycephalosaurus. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.